Hi, this is Matt Amberson, principal of ORATS, and today I'd like to talk about a concept for treating small priced options in your portfolio for risk management purposes. We call these values RIP values, and the genesis of that terminology came from the floor of the exchange where I used to trade at the SIBO, where experienced traders would purchase small priced options and simply rip up which was then a paper ticket and not put that position into his delta calculation. And from then I had 17 traders that I backed, and I would interview them for how they treated these types of options, because it was always a crux that we tried to figure out how to deal with these options. They didn't really behave like normal options. Their deltas and their prices didn't change. And so here is kind of the experiential way to deal with small priced options in your portfolio for risk management purposes. And we'll also introduce another purpose at the end. So we're defining the RIP value as the value at which the delta doesn't behave normally. And after these interviews with these traders, I've come to figure out that I find that value by taking the theoretical value in a Black-Scholes calculation, 45 days to expiration, where the volatility is the volatility of the current stock, and what strike do I have to manipulate in order to get the 25 delta, and then whatever value that produces, that's approximate value where these traders would start to treat these options differently. So for example, it's easier to look at it this way. In Dell today, it's 17 and a half, 17.47. The volatility is 26.16, and the RIP value for Dell is 0.2. For eBay, the stock is 24.76. The volatility that we're using is 21.69. That generates a RIP value, or the value at which these options start behaving differently, of 27. Yahoo, $17 stock, 25% volatility. The RIP is down at 11 cents, and a bigger stock, First Solar stock priced up at 134.23, the relatively high volatility of 32.44. The RIP value is 2.97, almost a $3 RIP. You can see how much these RIPs change over different stock prices and volatilities. But this is when, for First Solar, you need to start treating the options differently. So a rule of thumb that the traders would use is that they would start taking deltas out at the RIP value. So in Dell would be 20 cents, and then the deltas would be totally out by the time the value of the option, it could be any option, January, 100 days to expiration, 10 days to expiration. They would take all of the deltas out by the time it was half the RIP value, or in Dell's case, 10 cents, right? The RIP value is 20. So I put together a sample position that you might have. In Dell, let's say you owned 100 May 14 puts, 100 May 15 puts, and 100 May 16 puts with a stock price of 17.47. Well, the theoretical values is 20 cents, which happens to be right at the RIP value for the 16 put, 9 cents for the May 15 put, and only 2 cents for the May 14 put. Now, a normal calculation using the Black-Scholes formulas for these would give you 282 deltas for those May 14 puts, 885 deltas for the May 15 puts, only worth 9 cents, and let's see, 1800 deltas for the short deltas for the May 16 puts. So using the rules above, we would leave in the May 16 puts because its value is right at the RIP, so we're not taking any out yet until it goes below the RIP. We would, since May is below 10 cents at 9 cents, we would take all those out, or we'd take 885 deltas out, and we'd take all of the May 14 deltas out, 2 deltas, so that would take out 282. So whereas you may have purchased 3,000 Dell shares against this position before, we would call that where you'd actually feel like you're long 1,000. You know, if you because you should be taking out 282 for the 14 puts and 885 for the May 15 puts. So you could see that your positions are quite different. You know, whereas you're basically flat in a Black-Scholes calculation, treating the RIP values or the small option values and taking them out of your position, you're actually quite long. You're rooting for the stock to go up, uh, rooting for Dell to go up with that much of a stock position. All right, so that's the risk management part. So we want to learn to take out particular options, especially long options, out of your portfolio. It gets a little tricky with short options. What the traders would do is only take about half of their short option deltas out. And again, that's very, you know, it gets kind of risky being short options, but definitely with their long options, they would take out with the rules of the RIP. And so that's basically how you would treat the RIP value from a risk management standpoint. Another way to look at RIP values is it's a good place to start buying in your short options because much of the benefit of being short, which is your time decay, is gone, but the risk is still there. So people will use the risk value, the RIP value, to start buying in their shorts, and you know, again, they would treat it similarly, where you'd start when the RIP value is hit, and you'd be out of your try to get out of those shorts by the time the half RIP value was reached. So that is the story of the RIP value. It's, you know, kind of an experiential way to deal with risk, and it's, you know, it's a shortcoming of the mathematically developed and statistically developed Black-Scholes, where we think that there's a weakness in the small option price. If you have some questions on this, please email me at matt@orats. And thanks for your interest in option research and technology services.